In this report, I read from Chapter 5, Section 2, Section C, FBI detailees to the CIA Counterterrorism Center. This area details the FBI agents tasked to the CIA's Counterterrorism Center, the Bin Laden Issue Station at the Counterterrorism Center. In 1996, the FBI began detailing employees to work in the CIA's Counterterrorism Center. During this time period, relevant to the chapter of the report, 5 FBI employees were detailed to the counterterrorism's Osama bin Laden unit in 4 separate positions. 2 of the positions were filled by personnel from the FBI's Washington field office, and 1 position each was filled from the FBI's New York field office and FBI headquarters. One of the FBI detailees assigned to the bin Laden unit, who we will call Eric, held a supervisory position as a deputy chief of the bin Laden unit. Eric, an FBI headquarters supervisor in the radical fundamentalist unit, was detailed to the Counterterrorism Center as a branch chief for a particular terrorism group in September 1997. In March 1999, FBI headquarters transferred him from that part of the Counterterrorism Center to the deputy chief position in the bin Laden unit. According to Eric, he was told by FBI Assistant Director Neil Gallagher that there were a lot of problems between the FBI's New York field office and the bin Laden unit, and that he needed to mend the relationship. Eric stated that although he acted as a liaison between the CIA and the FBI, his primary job was to perform substantive work related to the bin Laden unit's mission. Eric left the bin Laden unit in January 2000 and was replaced in July of 2000 by an FBI employee who we call Greg. By this time, the bin Laden unit had been placed into a newly formed group, which was a much larger organization than the bin Laden unit. Greg was designated as a deputy chief in the new larger group. He described his primary job as being a referent for law enforcement issues. He explained this role as involving coordination between the FBI and CIA when they wanted to conduct joint interviews or when the CIA requested assistance with a law enforcement matter. Eric and Greg had access via computers on their desks to the CIA's internal cables. Eric said that while he was at the CIA, he attempted to read all incoming bin Laden unit cables. However, he said that the amount of cable traffic was overwhelming and was too much for one individual to read consistently. In contrast, Craig told the Office of the Inspector General that he did not believe his job was to read all the cable traffic and that he did not even attempt to do so. Another FBI employee detailed to the bin Laden unit, an intelligence operations specialist who we will call Mary, was assigned to a CIA headquarters from the FBI's Washington field office in April of 1998. Although she was assigned to work on issues of mutual interest to the FBI and the CIA, such as the East Africa embassy bombings, she also was assigned to work on unilateral counterterrorism center matters. She said that as a desk officer, she read and responded to cable traffic that was pertinent to the matters she was assigned. She nominally reported to a supervisor in the FBI's Washington field office, but her work was assigned by the counterterrorism supervisors at the bin Laden unit. Mary was Margaret Gillespie. The Washington field office also detailed to the CTC a special agent who we call Dwight. His performance evaluations were done by the Washington field office, but his assignments came from counterterrorism center managers. He focused on the financial aspects of terrorism and obtained information through the counterterrorism center to help identify and investigate persons who were responsible for funding terrorism. he had access to CIA cables and reviewed them for potential leads or other information related to terrorist financing. An FBI New York field office agent from its bin Laden squad, who we call Malcolm, was also detailed to the CIA's bin Laden unit in early 1999 at the request of John O'Neill, the New York field office special agent in charge for counterterrorism at the time. Malcolm is Mark Rossini. Malcolm replaced another New York City field office bin Laden squad agent who left the CIA's bin Laden unit in August of 1998. Malcolm told the Office of Inspector General that he was not given instructions as to his specific duties at the CIA. He said he understood his job there was to be the eyes and ears of the New York field office and to monitor New York field office cases. He said his role was to facilitate inquiries of mutual interest and to act as a liaison for FBI offices around the country by following up on tracing requests and reporting on their status. He stated that he also spent a significant amount of time coordinating with the Counterterrorism Center in preparation for and during the trials that arose out of the FBI's investigations into the East Africa Embassy bombings. He told the Office of Inspector General that he did not review all cables. He reviewed only the cables that he thought were interesting, generally based solely on his review of the cable subject line. He said he reported to a special agent in the New York field office and not to annoy anyone at the CIA.